I stand by the window of our apartment in Boston, gazing at the city lights below, feeling the weight of the silence that fills the room. It's not a peaceful quiet, but a heavy one, like the air before a storm. Jeff, my husband, left another note. I'll be late. Don't wait up. I've heard this so many times that the words barely register anymore. We don't talk about our days or share small moments like we used to. Now there's just this routine. He leaves, I wait. The comfort that once defined us has turned into something unrecognizable, and I've stopped trying to fix it. Every morning feels the same. Wake up, make tea, go through the motions, but I don't feel alive. I wonder where we went wrong or if we've just been slowly drifting apart without even realizing it. And tonight, as I wait in the quiet, I know something's missing, but I don't know how to get it back. Each morning unfolds like a silent replay of the one before it. Alarm clock. Cold floor, toothbrush, coffee, the same steps taken without. But just movement through a life that no longer feels like mine. I go through the routine because it's what I know, though it brings no joy, only a dull sense of obligation. Jeff is almost never home when I wake up, and even when he is, we barely speak beyond what's necessary. His time is consumed by meetings and colleagues I've never met, and I've stopped asking about them because I already know the answers won't bring us any closer. The space between us has grown without drama, without shouting, just a quiet slipping away that now feels irreversible. I keep trying to hold on to some version of myself within this quiet, polished emptiness, but most days I can't tell if I'm preserving something or just pretending it still exists. It happened without planning, without build-up, just a shift. In the air between us that neither of us tried to stop. John came over to pick up a charger he'd left. Nothing unusual, just a casual visit. But the way he looked at me steady, searching, felt different. We talked like we've done before, but this time there was something behind his words, and when I responded, I heard it in my own voice too. We stood in the hallway, too close, and then he kissed me, not dramatic or rushed. Just a quiet, certain gesture that felt more real than anything I'd felt in months. I didn't pull away. I should have. I know that, but I didn't. And for a moment, the silence I'd been drowning in cracked. I felt something warm, alive, dangerous. And when it ended, I didn't say anything. He didn't either. The weight of it lingered in the air, but instead of guilt, there was a strange kind of relief. Like finally exhaling after holding my breath far too long. The next day unfolded like every other, and I moved through it with practiced ease, hiding everything beneath calm gestures and half smiles that no one questioned, especially not Jeff. He didn't seem to notice anything different. He left early, returned late, barely glanced in my direction, and I let it continue, unsure whether I wanted him to see through me or not. The kiss with John stayed with me, not as a mistake, but as a quiet shift, a fracture in the life I'd been pretending was whole. I told myself it didn't mean anything, that it was just a moment, but I kept replaying it, not because of the kiss itself, but because of what it revealed, how much I missed feeling noticed, wanted, seen. Jeff and I still shared space, meals, silence, but the connection was gone, and I realized I was no longer trying to fix it. Instead, I was managing appearances, holding everything in place just enough to keep the truth from spilling out. Every time I see John now, there's an unspoken understanding between us, a quiet awareness that we've crossed into something we can't fully explain, but also can't deny. Our conversations grow longer, stretching beyond casual topics into memories, regrets, moments that feel strangely intimate, even when the words are ordinary. We meet for coffee, we walk without any destination, and with every shared glance, I feel myself leaning into the space he's offering. He isn't pushy, but he's present in a way Jeff hasn't been in a long time, and that presence starts to fill the emptiness I've been carrying. He tells me he can't keep waiting forever, that eventually I'll have to choose, and though he doesn't say it harshly, I know he means it. I keep thinking I'll find clarity, but all I feel is the pull growing stronger, a gravity I'm no longer fighting. And even when I try to remind myself what's at stake, I'm not sure if that version of my life still belongs to me. Jeff doesn't ask questions, but I can tell he's starting to feel the shift. His eyes linger a second. Longer when I pass him in the kitchen, and there's a stiffness in his voice when he tells me he'll be late again. He doesn't accuse me of anything, doesn't confront me, but the space between us suddenly feels watched, as if he's trying to piece together what changed without having the language to ask. I catch him looking at me sometimes, not with anger, but with something quieter, almost like confusion or maybe disappointment, and that's harder to face. I want to tell him something, maybe even explain what I'm feeling, but I can't bring myself to start a conversation I already know won't end well. The truth would hurt him, but the lie I'm living is slowly undoing me too. I go to bed before he comes home, not out of anger, just because it's easier to avoid the weight in his silence than to meet it head on. When I go to John's place this time, there's no pretense left between us, no careful words or nervous glances, just the kind of silence that comes when both people know exactly why they're there. He asks again, not impatiently but firmly, if I'm ready to make a choice, and I nod before I even realize I've done it. There's no dramatic confession, no promises, just a quiet agreement that whatever this is, we're stepping into it. Fully now. I'm not thinking about Jeff in that moment, not because I don't care, but because that part of my life already feels too far behind me. I stay longer than I planned, not because he asks me to, but because I want to, and as I lie. Next to him afterward, I feel something I haven't felt in a long time, a sense of being needed. But it's not relief I feel. It's something heavier, like I've opened a door that can't be closed. I don't know what comes next, but I've already crossed the line, and there's no pretending otherwise. Jeff doesn't say much when he finds out, not right away. He stands in the doorway for a moment, as if he's trying to decide whether to speak or just walk away. In the end, he does neither. He just looks at me, not with anger, but with something quieter and far more painful resignation. There's no yelling, no accusations, no asking why. He just packs a few things, calmly, like someone who already knew this moment was coming, but hoped it might never arrive. I don't stop him because I can't pretend I didn't make the choice that led us here. When the door finally closes behind him, it's like the silence swells all over again. But this time it's different final in a way that feels heavier than I expected. I turn to John for comfort, hoping that what I gave up will feel worth it, but almost immediately I sense something in him shift. He's more present, more certain, but also more demanding. What once felt like a refuge now carries weight, and I'm no longer sure if I traded one kind of silence for another kind of control. I try to settle into this new version of my life, but it doesn't feel like freedom, it feels like being watched. John wants more now. More time, more answers, more of me than I know how to give. What once felt easy has turned into something tight and uncomfortable, and I catch myself holding my breath again. Just like before, only this time in a different apartment with a different man. He questions small things, wants to know where I'm going, why I'm quiet, and I realize I've lost the space I thought I was choosing. I miss parts of Jeff, not the distance, but the understanding we used to have, the comfort of not having to explain every part of myself. I thought I wanted something new, something real, but I didn't expect to feel this hollow. Now I lie awake at night, not out of guilt, but out of uncertainty, wondering if I ever really knew what I needed. I made the choice, and now I'm left sitting with it, knowing I can't undo it and not sure where to go next.